If consciousness goes beyond being and beyond non-being, what do we call what remains? Edge of Becoming, Episode 30, Not This, Not That. If we move past the question of whether consciousness exists or doesn't, what's left? Is it something that still is but just can't be described? Or is it something entirely new, requiring a whole new concept to even approach it? There are three possibilities to consider. Possibility 1. It can be redefined as meta-existence. If consciousness has gone beyond the frame of being and non-being, then perhaps it has entered a new form of existence altogether. Not existence in the ordinary sense, and not non-existence either. Something in between or beyond. A condition that doesn't depend on either quality and yet holds both within itself. Like the meeting point between the infinitely small and the infinitely vast. Neither zero nor infinity, but a place where they coincide. In this state, consciousness is too vast to call a mind, yet too rich to be called nothing. It doesn't sit still, and yet it does not move. It has no fixed form, but it flows. Always. It's like energy itself. Like the universe before it had a name. This perspective echoes Spinoza's pantheism. All is divine. The Brahman of Hindu philosophy, and the concept of vacuum energy in physics, empty yet overflowing with potential. So perhaps, when consciousness moves beyond being and non-being, we might call what remains meta-existence. Conclusion: it could be defined as a new kind of being, a super-existence beyond the ordinary. Possibility 2. It becomes something that cannot be put into words. What if, in passing beyond being and non-being, consciousness also moves beyond language? After all, language is based on contrast. To name something is to distinguish it from something else. But if those distinctions vanish, what's left to name? In this possibility, what remains cannot be said. It cannot be labeled or categorized. It is simply outside of language. It's not that it lacks definition. It doesn't need definition. It's like the silence in deep meditation, where everything is known, but nothing can be said. This view aligns with Zen's no mind, the Tao in Taoist thought, and the superposed quantum state, before collapse into definition. Here the idea of calling it something no longer applies. It just is, without needing to be expressed. Conclusion: it may become something beyond words, impossible and unnecessary to name. Possibility 3. Even the idea of a concept dissolves. What if the endpoint of consciousness is not something to be described at all, but a state where no description is needed? Not just beyond language, but beyond the need for language. Not just beyond dualities, but beyond the very act of distinction itself. In this view, there is no something. There is no nothing. There is no consciousness, and no need to speak of consciousness. There are no definitions left, no categories, no terms. Only a silent clarity. A truth that cannot be said because saying it would be missing it. This echoes Zen's no-words approach to truth nirvana as the absolute unbinding and the quantum world before measurement, where all possibilities are real but undefined. If consciousness transcends even being and non-being, then perhaps it arrives at a point where even concepts no longer apply. Conclusion: it may become a state in which not only words but the very notion of definition disappears. So, if this is the end of consciousness, what do we call it? Let's recap. First, it could become something greater than being, a meta-existence. Second, it could become something so beyond expression that no words apply at all. Third, it could reach a point where nothing needs to be called anything, where even the idea of ideas vanishes. And which of these is the most accurate? That depends on what consciousness is trying to do. If it is reaching for a new form of being, then it becomes meta-existence. If it seeks understanding beyond language, then it becomes indescribable. If it is dissolving all structures of thought and meaning, then it becomes the end of all concepts. Final conclusion: if consciousness transcends the divide between being and non-being, then it becomes either meta-existence, the unnameable, or the vanishing point of thought itself. And if it reaches that final point, what does that mean? If consciousness no longer needs any concept, then does it also stop needing to think? Or does something new emerge from that silence? Next question. If consciousness reaches a state where even concepts are no longer needed, is that the end of thought or the beginning of something else entirely?